Okay, well, remember my last video was about it takes a lot of nerve, and through Over It, I happened to be treated to this absolutely whatever article. And it was, and remember I mentioned our favorite cheater, Caster Semenya, and apparently he keeps trying to store his image, which has already been obliterated, because no, he's not a Miz. He's a man that stole from women by fraudulently competing in women's events. I love this sentence. I know I look like a man, I know I sound like a man, and maybe even walk like a man, and dress like one too. Yes, you married like a man, you sired children like a man, you know, you walk like a man, talk like a man, walk like a man, my son. You are a man, okay? We've got an XY chromosomes. It doesn't matter, Mr. Semenya, whether you have a tiny dick and rather unusual testes. It doesn't matter, because that's not the issue. That's an excuse that you're trying to justify your cheating. But the fact is, you were outed as XY, and you've always known you were XY. Let's face it, all your connections knew it. But this was a big con that some truly unethical people down in South Africa decided to pull in order to get an edge in women's track events. And other countries have done the same damn shit. And it needs to stop. It needs to be completely obliterated. For as far as I'm concerned, these cheaters that are politically called intersex, they're DSD, these males, as far as I'm concerned, they're a worse problem than these so-called transgenders. These guys are way worse, because then they play the sympathy card. They try to get everybody to cry tears for them. But it doesn't matter, because they're men. And I think it was Linda Blade, the coach, the Canadian coach, had said, had come out on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and said that the scandal of the 800-meter women's event at the Rio Olympics in 2016, where 3 men won all of the medals, those men should lose their medals. Oh, yeah, we know they should, but it ain't going to happen if they let that fraud Stella Walsh, his heirs, not to fork over that damned medal that he won fraudulently way back in the 1930s. They're sure as shit not going to do this now. They have to save face no matter what. But anyway, getting back to our favorite cheater, he's trying to make excuses. It isn't about your looks, it's about your chromosomes, dickhead. Nobody cares. You're really, and you can tell this is a man. You can tell this is a man. Because men, too often, and this is stereotypical, but they too often think that their problems are the worst problems that ever affected the human race. You know, they could have a cold, you know, a little sniffle, and they think, they act like they're Camille, or, you know, in the movie Camille, and hack away at consumption. They think they have that. You know, and so this guy thinks this is the worst thing that he's done. And he's so self-centered, he's so narcissistic, he doesn't see he's stolen from women. He's absolutely stolen. So I suspect there's a book deal here in the works. He's got to make a living somehow. And yeah, somebody on Over It had said, well, isn't he a little old to be competing in women's events anyway? Well, that's the point. See, a lot of these dudes that want to crash women's sports are over the hill. There's guys in their 40s and 50s that are competing against young women, much younger women, and they're beating them because they're men. Okay? So, yeah, that's the point. They want to be able to continue their little fraud by continuing to steal from women, and they count on women to just sit back and take that bullshit. And no, they shouldn't take it. And anyway, he's such a liar. He didn't have any gynecological exam. He's so full of shit. At the age of 18, I had my first gynecological exam. No, you didn't. Afterward, I learned that I had XY chromosomes. You're such a liar. You knew it the whole goddamn time you had it. Oh, shit. He said he had produced undescended testicles. I didn't know I had it. In order to continue racing as a woman, which you were never, I was told I needed to have surgery to remove them. You shouldn't have. It doesn't matter if you'd have had surgery. Your chromosomes are all XY. It don't matter. It doesn't matter, Castor. You're a man. Just deal with it. And he's trying to play about his culture. And he's playing the race card. Oh God, he's such a piece of work. And well, you know, there's a video clip of him from Save Women's Sports YouTube channel that shows a little clip of him, and he compared himself to Jesus Christ. I mean, that's how bad this guy, or how big this bad this guy's narcissism is. And one of the commenters said, well, Jesus was a man too, so there's that similarity. Yeah. So anyway, he's trying to think this. He thinks this is ridiculous that when he was finally outed by the Sunday Times of London, and they decided the IAAF decided to, or World Athletics, they decided in response to this cheating that they were going to change the rules. And now he's mad. He says, this is ridiculous. We are not men. Who's we? You and your other cheaters that stole from women in the Olympics in 2016? I'm a great runner, and I train with men. Well, because you're a man. You're not a great runner when you run against men. In fact, you can't win against men. That's why you're cheating in women's sports. And he says, maybe I give a hard time on my best day, but in any other elite female athlete, there no other elite as elite female athletes could. But I have never been able to approach an elite male runner's time. That's why you cheat. Because you're not good enough to run against men, which is what you are as a man. And this is such a laugh. I mean, he doesn't even, he's so damned entitled. Oh, God. A gynecologist my team hired examined me and told the IAAF that if the issue was my testosterone level, estrogen would bring it down below 10 nanomoles per liter, but it's way above what women have. Even, you're a cheat. God damn it, you want to cheat. You know, not even Lance Armstrong was this bad. And, oh, God. And anyway, it's all a bunch of trying to garner sympathy. And as they noted, this is like an archive of this article, but as the commenters on over it noted, there are no comments allowed on this article because everybody knows that Caster Semenya is a fraud, okay? Or competed as fraudulent. Competed fraudulently. And it's time that sports just kick all these cheats out. It doesn't matter if they're a cross-dresser like Leah Thomas. It doesn't matter if it's a man with DSD like Caster Semenya. Doesn't matter. You got an XY chromosome, you don't compete in women's sports. There are other lines of work to go into. And I suspect our friend Castor will probably get a book deal somehow, trying to bullshit the world that he ever had a case. Nope, men don't belong in women's sports. Not ever. So anyway, if you want to read this thing, I'll post a link if you could stomach what he has to say. Anyway, that's it for me.